think the big thing is it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So just knowing, why are you doing certain things? And I see too often people are just.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to MedBoys episode 9. Here we are with Daniyal Kashif, a fellow student at the University of Toronto, and he's going to be introducing himself further on.
Yeah, hey guys. So my name is Daniyal Kashif. I am a student at UTSC. So just like really quick, just doing a double major in human bio and health studies. And we'll get into some of the other stuff as the podcast progresses, I guess.
So Daniyal, as we know, you're the recipient of the TD Scholarship Award, which is a very big accomplishment, and we're also proud of you for being able to do that. So could you just walk us through what the TD Scholarship is, how you applied for it, and sort of the unique things that made you stand out as an applicant for the scholarship?
Yeah, for sure. That's a pretty loaded question, but I really like how you phrase that question. So the first thing I would say is like I'm just really, really blessed to be able to have that opportunity to be even in the environment, whether it be with my teachers, whether it be with my friends, to where that I was able to achieve such an award. So honestly, I was just blessed to be in that environment and in that surrounding, and I just tried my best. I just woke up every day trying to be the best version of myself. And honestly, like I never even knew about the TD scholarship until grade 12, where I was actually applying for other scholarships. And then my guidance counselor was like, hey, why don't you go for this one as well? And I looked at it, I was like, no way, I'm getting this. And I just applied and it just happened. So it just goes to show you that as long as you have the right intention just to be the best person and try to achieve something in the world and just to do something good, don't worry about like all those other accolades. We're always looking to get something because then we can have it on our resume and then get to somewhere else, and it's a constant rat race. Just try and be the best person and just grounded, and just doing the work that's in front of you, and all that other stuff will take care of itself. That's the biggest. If there was one big takeaway message I think people could take from me, it would definitely be that. But and I think that's the type of stuff that reflected in my application. So essentially what happens is that there's a preliminary phase. So once you submit the applications, so it's an essay and then two shorter writing pieces, and then just a document you fill out with your extracurriculars. They reach back to you, they email you back in February, and then they tell you, hey, you moved on to phase 2. You don't have to do anything there. They just email you and let you know. And then they ask you to come for the interview. And then the interview step is really awesome because they invite you to, based on like the province that you're in Canada, they'll invite you to one of the head offices. So I went to the Toronto one, and so I go up to floor 9. It was a really awesome experience because they had these alumni of the scholarship who were there just helping you, just calming you down, right? And it was a really nice just chat that I had with them, and it was honestly the best and easiest interview I've ever had from there on, because they really made it a really like warm and inviting environment. So everybody there at TD who's working on that is really amazing. And again, I was just really fortunate to be in that type of position. Yeah.
Were you nervous about the interview in any way?
You know what? I don't think I fully was, because I didn't really understand the scholarship, like everything that came with it, because you really like find out all the stuff that comes with it after you receive it, right? I remember we actually, it was my dad and I, we went via train downtown, right? And so I go downtown and I just told my dad, okay, just let me focus in. And I didn't talk at all. And I was like, okay, Mamba mentality, like just focus in. Don't say anything. Just don't think. Just clear everything out. And then by the time I got to that building, I'm like, all right, game face on. I just have to be myself and just have to show. And you know what? I just wanted to leave that interview. And I feel like, just every interview or anything that you're doing, just feel like you did the best that you can. You can never control what other people do. And you can't control how those people who are interviewing you perceive you. But what you can control is just how you demonstrate, like how you show yourself, right? And then once you leave with that satisfaction, hey, I just did my best, and that's all that you can ask for.
Yeah, the reason I asked that question was because I was very nervous in high school doing interviews. And I remember when I had my interview, I was just very nervous, but it ended up going well. But you mentioned Mamba mentality. I have to ask you. I know that you're a very motivated person. I've heard a lot about you during university and stuff. So, what was your inspiration in high school? I know that for the three of us, Kobe Bryant has been an inspiration for us for a long time. But what about you?
Yeah, honestly, like sports has been such a big part of my life. I played it just at fun for at school, basketball, ultimate frisbee, cross country track, and played like a whole like variety of sports, volleyball even. And it's just like that competitiveness with sports, but also having that like ability to communicate with other people. I really love those skills that you learn from sports. Absolutely amazing. But um, for me, I would look at these different athletes and I would take examples from them. I would take the things that they're doing. So, for example, like Kobe Bryant, like he had such a strong work ethic, and I just thought, if I'm gonna take that, like I got to take that work ethic and apply it in all of my different areas that I'm working in. Like sports, if I'm doing schoolwork, if I'm doing community work, just anything, just have to have that same work ethic all around. And it's so funny because once you see like the effect that Kobe Bryant had on people, everybody says the same thing. Like Mamba mentality was not just for basketball; it's for everything, right? So um, it's really awesome to see like that type of impact that he had on people, and just even some other athletes like LeBron James. He built a school for students, right? That's so crazy. Like that's so crazy, right? That's so, and all of the other stuff that's involved with that. Like he gave the kids bikes, he gave their parents jobs. Um, he's setting the standard for what it means to be a leader in your community, right? And my dad, he definitely enforced with me, what it means to be a leader in your community. He used, so we're from Pakistan. Cricket is a big part of our um, culture, and so we love, for example, like Imran Khan, how he was able to lead the team to a world championship. Yeah, so again, just these stories of these different athletes who are able to be just the best leaders on their team, and just how they did it. Lead by example is something that I try to live my life by.
Yeah, and everything you said really resonates with us too. That's what we try to do on a daily basis. And you obviously are a very good leader. So, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the extracurriculars and activities that you did in high school?
Yeah. I don't think I'm a great leader. I think I'm still like, we're always on this path of like forever learning to how to be even a better leader. I think the one thing that I try to hold myself accountable for and say, you just do this and everything else will work out, is just that I try to be approachable. So if we're working on a team, anybody can come and talk to me. And if we're all like super eager to go in this one direction, anyone can come up and say, hey, why don't we do this? So that's what I try to really focus on. And I think that's really helped. And I try to take different roles in clubs. So there's some clubs that I've joined specifically. I mean, I really like what they're doing, but I also wanted to join them because I would be joining in as a different position, just to understand, if I'm in a position where somebody's giving directions to me, and then I switch over to another club where I'm giving directions to somebody else, how does it all work? Just understanding it holistically, how that chain of command works. But yeah, no, I'm a part of the Children's Foundation. It's a charity to increase the to increase the advocacy for educational development in Pakistan. So I'm a part of that club. I'm a part of Host of Canada outside of school, so not like Host of UTC, but Host of Canada. So that's been really fun. Yeah, I've been a part of the ultimate frisbee team here at UTSC. I was the board of director for biology in my first year as well. I was on the PSA, the Pakistani Student Association. I'm just trying to go through my head if there's anything else. Yeah, no, I think it was a lot. Like I did more things in high school, but given just the course load, yeah, I've had to pick and choose some of my more favored interests.
So, I mean, it's quite obvious that you've done quite a lot up until now in your, I guess, academic career.
Yeah.
So, how do some of these skills and these experiences translate to your application when you do apply for a scholarship, such as the TD scholarship?
I think the big thing is it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So just knowing why are you doing certain things? I see too often people are just a part of clubs just because they want something to put on their resume. But truly, if you can be a part of a club and then you see how this can benefit your life and how you can benefit the club, that's the best thing. You grow with the club over time, right? You actually want to care about, you actually want to care about the initiative. So I see you guys, the amazing work that you do for blankets for TO, right? I mean, it's awesome. You guys clearly have a passion for helping other individuals in the community who may otherwise not have a voice, right? So empowering them. It gives a sense of self gratification when you're able to help someone with the skills that you've picked up on your life. So in high school, the big club that I was a part of and I created was the multicultural committee, and that was just because I just wanted to be able to share my culture with other people. There weren't too many other Pakistanis in the school, right? So I was able to also grab in people from Caribbean cultures, people from African cultures, and it all sort of just developed over time. And I would also say just being flexible and not always having not being stuck in one mindset, but just being flexible. This can develop over here. So yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, that's a very good thing to say, and a very so it seems like the sort of mindset that people want to go to is you've got to sort of be a leader and be an independent person when you go to apply for these sort of positions. So in terms of the actual questions that they asked you and the responses that you gave, what were sort of the things that they were looking for, and what were the things that you gave them?
Yeah. Just be honest and just speak from the heart. So again, just going back to what I was saying before, having that actual passion for what you're doing. When it comes time to going to an interview for whatever it may be, right? Or again, writing that application, a lot of places will be able to tell your true passion for something just by the way that you write or the way that you speak for it. When I was over there, I can't quite remember, the exact questions, for example, for the TD scholarship. But if I think back a little bit, some of them were based on, just the development of the club and why I chose to be a part of the club. And at the time I was also a part, I sort of spearheaded another club at my school. So I was talking about that and just talking about the impact. These clubs and these extracurriculars that I took a part of, they have a direct impact on my life. And that's why I wanted to help out. I want to make the road for somebody else who's younger than me a little bit easier than what it was for me, right? So I want to be able to take anything that I see as unjust and then fix that for the next person. And so when you go to the interview, when you go to the application, you want to be able to communicate that to other people, right? That, I have a strong passion for this. This is why I'm doing this. If it's a job interview, you may want to talk about the skills that you've gained from this position and then how it can maybe relate to the job. Or how it's just a general life skill, I had to communicate with these people who I didn't have the best relation with, but I had to make this event happen. So this is, I put aside these issues. I really tried to be just the best person I could be. And yeah, that's those things. Yeah.
Yeah, and you seem like, I mean, for the TD scholarship, you obviously had to write some essays, you had to go to an interview, speak orally. So how did you develop your writing and oral communication skills to a point where they were very proficient?
Yeah. Okay. So for writing, I asked my English teacher a fair bit. So I just had that relation with him because he saw how hard I worked in class. And I said, hey, do you mind reading this over? So I had him look over this, and it was several sessions of just revising it. There's every sentence, because the word count is so low. So you have to make sure that every sentence that you're putting in, there's no redundancies. There's every sentence actually has a purpose. So I was just combing over those essays. And it was definitely, again, like I was saying, I'm so blessed to have such a great position. Though those teachers really did an amazing job, which is going over all of that information, just make sure it was well written. Now for orally, honestly, I don't think my oral skills are as great. I'm trying to improve by just doing different things, reading, listening to podcasts, but I definitely think I that's one thing I actually want to improve in 2021 is just my oral proficiency and just how I speak.
You're doing pretty well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, you guys are awesome. Like you guys are really
Better
good.
than the rest of us.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, you guys are really good.
But yeah, in terms of scholarships, I don't think this was mentioned before, but you said that you did apply to other scholarships besides the TD one. So what other ones do you recommend to the students who are coming to university?
That's a good question. I think honestly, apply to all of the scholarships that you can. There's actually a lot of scholarships out there, and the thing is that they'll look for a specific type of person. So if you don't get accepted into a scholarship, don't feel down. Don't feel down because they were just looking for something else. That doesn't mean that you weren't good, but they just weren't. They were looking for something else. So, but yeah, no. So there's the Loran Scholarship. There's the Schulich Scholarship. There's the Burger King Foundation Scholarship. There's a Scotiabank Scholarship as well, and then there's an RBC Scholarship as well. I actually had it's so funny. I had this whole list of them and like everything that I wrote down. So this is actually a pretty good tip, I think. I had a Word document, and so every application I wrote it there. And a lot of them, like the questions were pretty generic, so you could sort of answer them to you talk about your clubs, you talk about your passion for why those clubs, why you're part of those clubs. So I was able to take a lot of things from different essays and put them together for my next application, and that really helped. That's another way to sort of really just comb over each of my writings. And so I applied for the Loran Scholarship. I didn't even make it to the interview phase. And actually, cool story. I was like super devastated because I thought I thought I put a pretty good application forward. How come I didn't get any callbacks or anything like that? And that was a moment in my life. That was at the starting of grade 12, where I really had to check myself and be like, okay, relax, man. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you putting this pressure on yourself? And it wasn't even me. It was one of my French professors or my French teachers. When I'm trying, like, why didn't I get it? Like I put so much hard work into the application, filled out all the sections. Why didn't I even get like an interview or anything? And I felt really down. And she's like, you need to relax. Like it's not the end of the world. And over time I found out, they're just looking for other, like different things. And the other thing is, man, I need to relax. Like, who do I think that I am? That I just think that I can walk in and get any sort of interview. Like, I personally need to humble myself and realize that I'm not some type of king that can just walk in and expect anything, right? So, yeah, that was a period in time where I think I grew as a person by not being accepted to that. So, even if you don't get accepted or get called for any sort of interviews, there are still opportunities to grow and learn from that. And I think that's a really big takeaway when you are applying for different positions. But yeah, no, those are some of my other scholarships I would definitely recommend.
So moving on from these experiences, obviously being rejected by certain scholarships and winning certain scholarships, how will this translate to when you go to apply for wherever your career ends up? So I guess this is a two-part question. Where do you see yourself in a few years in terms of your career? And how do you think these experiences will shape your future career?
Yeah, so I think, so I want to become a cardiac surgeon, right? I want to work with the heart. I want to, work with the cardiovascular system. It's my favorite system. I love it. So I want to work with that. It's a lot of hard work from these different blogs I've seen, these different experiences I've had where I'm speaking with people either in the field or again just online. And there's a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of resilience. I think anything in life takes a lot of resilience, right? And so another point that I would tell hopefully the people listening to this to do is to really reflect on your life on a daily basis. So not just reflect on, okay, I didn't get this interview, like what happened, right? Like reflect on a daily basis. When I go to bed, I often think about, what I could have done better, what more I could have done. And it's just this reflection that's going to make you into a better person. That's going to make you into a better worker in whatever field.
Daniel, I think this brings us to the end of our podcast. Before we leave, I just want to say I am a crazy person about cardiology as well. I've been interested in it since I was in, I think, middle school or something. But thank you for giving us all the information about the scholarships and your future career goals. It will definitely help all the people who are viewing this, and you're an inspiration to us as well.
No way. I appreciate that. I'm just a regular person, man.
Thank you so much for coming.